Welcome to the Upshot, multi-world disc golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me is Josh Mansfield on this October 30th. Tomorrow is Halloween. We're rocking and rolling. Josh, Halloween, when you're in your 20s, Halloween is great.
Yeah. Then
you're in your 30s, you're like, okay, like whatever, like I'll give out some candy. And then you have a kid and you're like, okay, Halloween's totally back.
Yeah.
What will Ollie be for Halloween tomorrow?
Ollie has been Superman. So we already went to a Halloween party and
nice.
we have a Superman costume and we've been teaching him to say. So Ollie doesn't like talking. So he goes around, he trick or treats, and then he has to let go of his bag so that he can sign thank you for the candy. And it's adorable.
Lewis will be a lion. He was actually a lion last year, but now my mom has sent me the costumes that she handmade for me when I was a toddler.
That's incredible.
So we have lion for this year and devil for next year. So, yeah.
That's great. That's great.
It should be good. We've got much to get to. We're back. We took a little more than a week off because we did a show Tuesday last week. Mm-hmm. Now we're back on Thursday. And it was interesting. I wasn't planning to do this off the top, but just saw that Staggered Stance, a fellow disc golf podcast, has said they're basically taking the whole off season off, and they're going to cut their shows down to like 15 shows next year.
Whoa!
And yeah, and I was thinking about it. I was like, when a couple years ago, like during COVID, Josh, you and I were doing 3 shows a week.
Yeah.
And we were both like, this is just too much. Like we were doing 2 shows, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then we were doing an interview episode on Wednesdays. And we cut back to 2. And then this year, like, let's be honest, like we did 1 show probably about half the time because we would have a tournament immediately into another tournament that started on Thursdays.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, like we could really push to get shows out on Tuesday and Wednesday, but it didn't feel like it was the right thing to do.
Well, and so, Charlie,
go ahead.
The other thing I want to add, I remember, so it was funny, before we did 3 shows, we actually started with 1 show. So when I joined, when I initially joined,
1 show. That's
we
right.
were doing 1 a week on Wednesdays. But the problem is that we were talking about the tournament that had just happened the day before the next one was supposed to start.
Right.
And so we were just so far, like people were preparing for the next one and we were just barely covering the action from the previous one. And that's what brought the Tuesday, Thursday. And I still felt like we were a little bit too short. And so we implemented the rapid reacts. And now we're the fastest. We're the fastest when it comes to the coverage of the week's tournament before. And so the evolution of the rapid reacts, I think, has made our first show of the week a little bit awkward anyway, because it's a combination of like not wanting to repeat everything that we already covered while also still covering the important topics.
But I guess I'm just noting that it is hard to get on and do a podcast even once a week. Mm-hmm. So like I understand where the Staggered Stance guys are coming from, because it's like, filling a whole off season of shows is like a real effort. Like we have to spend a lot of time show planning and thinking about so that it's not horribly boring. And we're just coming on here like talking about rumors and stuff, Yeah. And like we have admittedly like cut back on our show count a little bit, but I think that kind of reflects the overall state of like fandom and interest and energy that's happening in the sport right now. Like things were slower this year. Like across the board, like the interest was a little bit down, sales were down, like everything is just kind of like chilled out quite a bit since COVID times. So, to be clear, we are not planning to make substantial changes to the show format. We will probably have weeks where we don't do a show, like during holiday weeks. We will probably have weeks where we only do 1 show. But we're also going to have weeks where we're still doing 2 shows, and that's like generally the plan. It just depends on like, do we have things to discuss? We're not going to force it for no reason, and we're going to keep our shows to around an hour, which is our goal. So just a little bit of like meta discussion, but it's like it feels like everyone's kind of figuring out like, okay, this off season is going to be slow.
Yeah.
Like I think that's I've already seen some people talking about like, where are the rumors about player moves? Well, it's like one thing, player move stuff doesn't really get rumored much anymore until after January 1st, because people got into like literally legal hot water because they were like trying to maneuver while they were still under contract. But I also think there's just going to be way less energy in the sponsorship department this year.
Money's not
from
there.
Manufacturers. This isn't like, who's going to be throwing down big cash right now?
Yep.
It's not happening.
Charlie, I would like to, I want to conclude with one thing on the meta discussion really quick. Some of our best segments and like reoccurring segments and ideas that we've had have come from listeners suggesting off-season content.
True.
And so we will do shows when we have content. And if you have, and do the 2 shows kind of like we're planning. If you have content, if you have things that you're like, man, I wish a Disc Golf Podcast would talk about this or do this, I think this would be fun. Send it to us, email it to us. We would love to have those ideas because we've got the flexibility to do a lot of things right now. And we have our regular shows that we need to do. We got to do a draft recap, or we could just blackball Dan and never talk to him again. I'm fine with that too. But we have our gaffes bracket. We have our top storylines bracket. So we've got things that we will always do, but definitely open to some suggestions. Pivoting a little bit, Charlie, to some news when discussing that little bit of a slowdown. We already have 2 people who have announced that they will not be touring in 2025.
True.
Ben Calloway and James Proctor have both announced that they are going to be stepping away from the tour, at least full-time tour for 2025.
I have to say, I almost don't consider it news because I think both players communicated this. Like when we had James Proctor on at the end of the year last year, I think after he won MVP, he was basically like, I'm going to tour one more year and then I'm done.
Yep.
And so he's just following through. Now, like, maybe it feels more notable because he didn't have nearly as good of a year this year, but I think it was always the plan.
I think so,
Ben Calloway has a family and he's a kid. Like, this is not, as we've discussed in the past, this is not touring. Disc golf touring is not for the weak.
No,
it is not. And I don't mean it to be pejorative. Like, it is not for people with a wife and children. Or a spouse, I should say a spouse and children. It's just not.
Yes.
Like, it's really, really hard to pull that off. And some players will probably do it for a couple of years, but once their kid is like in school, you can't put them in an RV and drive them around.
Yeah. Ben Calloway announced in this announcement, he said that him and his wife are also expecting as well. So he's going to have another kiddo, and
it's okay. Like,
that's okay. He
got the win. It was sick as hell. Like, what a way to go out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, but I think, and you're right that they were already planning on it, but I don't know if the sport had stayed at COVID levels and grown from there. I think that these would be different conversations.
Absolutely.
Because the amount of money that would be present for those kind of players would still be substantial. That money is drying up, and drying up quickly. And I'm sure it's things in the sport are stabilizing, but it is back. I mean, it's really, really good for those at the top of the sport. It's really good.
Well, and keep in mind, it's not just about money. It's also about competitiveness for like contracts, because the market is also about supply and demand in a way. And with House of Discs, like, with probably almost no money to spend on player contracts this year, there's just not a huge market.
Yes.
Like, if other manufacturers can say, hey, we're cutting what we're going to pay you by 25%, and like, what are players going to do about it?
Right.
I'm not saying they're going to do that, but they probably could, because there's just not going to be the kind of bidding wars that we were seeing a couple of years ago. You know, for the absolute top players, and we'll talk about all this stuff as we get a little closer to the actual moves. in in the next couple of months, but there will be some players who get bids and are sort of sought after. But I think those middle of the pack to lower end touring pros are going to have a really hard time finding a contract that's worth much.
Yep. So anyway, I agree that we kind of knew about those two, but I still think it's newsworthy in the sense of like what it signals for when those level of players start leaving.
And I have to say, I won't be shocked if we see some other marginal pros step away, which we do every year.
Yes.
But like it could be like a more noticeable drop off this year.
And I
remember last year there were players who didn't get contracts that were like top professionals.
Yeah. I also wouldn't be shocked if you see those guys like on like the events that are close to them, right? James Proctor used to be the West Coast Warrior. Like every year we'd go out west and it's like, okay, watch out, like James Proctor's back. And so I would expect that. But so you'll see these names around, but just not at the same consistency.
All right. Well, let's get into the meat of the show today, and we're going to be talking player awards. This is probably the last time we'll discuss this until they actually announce them.
Yes.
But Josh and I both have a ballot to fill out for the Pro Tour, so we're going to use this show to kind of work through our thoughts and make our decisions. And we will give you our full slate of choices that will go on our ballots. And so we have a few categories in which we need to vote. And here they are. Player of the Year, of course. Rookie of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year. Most Improved Player. And then the 8 players to round out the second and third card All-Stars. Was there an All-Star event this past year? I can't even remember.
I think that there was. But I also don't remember.
I don't remember. Anyway,
not a good sign.
We will operate under the assumption that there will be an all-star event.
Yeah.
All right. So, player of the year. Well, let's get it out of the way. Men's side. Is there any world in which you're not voting for Gannon Buhr here?
If Gannon Buhr does not win unanimous player of the year, like I think that there are easy times that you can look at, like the like you can look at this and like this is how the Pro Tour can weed out bad voters. If Gannon Buhr does not win unanimous, everyone who doesn't vote for Gannon Buhr should not have a ballot next year.
Yeah, I mean there's always this voter fatigue factor, and people don't necessarily want to vote for the player who won the previous year, but you just cannot look at the data and not have it be clear that it should be Gannon.
Yes.
So Gannon has the most wins by double. He has 6 wins to Nicholas Antela's 3. He has a major, a Worlds.
Which Nicholas doesn't have. So the closest competitor in wins doesn't have a major.
His average finish was 4.4. By far the best. Calvin was second at 7.1. Gannon was on the podium 13 times this season. Second best was Anthony Barella with 6. Obviously, he won the Pro Tour season standings. He absolutely annihilated everybody in prize winnings with almost $150,000 in earnings this year. Second best was Calvin at $97,000.
And Calvin had a Pro Tour championship to add to that.
Right. And no surprise with all of these stats, Gannon had the best rating at events this year, 1057.8. Next best was Calvin at 1050.3. So literally he leads in every single statistical category. And
by almost double.
It's just not really a conversation here.
I'm dead serious, Charlie. I think if a media person votes for not Gannon Buhr, they should not get a vote next year. It would be criminal to not pick Gannon Buhr this year. There is no stat that he does not lead in by more than double.
The only if there's a feeling of it wasn't quite enough, it's because he didn't play as well down the stretch as he did last year.
Right. When he won 4 out of 5.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think it's very clear to say that his 2024 season was better than his 2025 season.
Yep.
Now, you can weigh the World's how you want to. Like, obviously, he's going to feel really good about finally getting a Worlds. But,
Yeah.
like, I think objectively he played better last year from like a wins perspective.
Yep.
So, it wasn't as good as the unbelievable 2024 season, but he pretty much kept it going. And like the podium count tells you what you need to know, which is that he was both incredibly consistent and winning. This is just like by far the best player on the planet right now.
Yeah, the only person that could beat Gannon in Player of the Year race would be 2024 Gannon, and I don't see him on my ballot. So pick him and let's move on with our lives.
All right, so let's dig in. Let's dig into this one.
This is the interesting one.
Here we go. People are sick of it, but this is the final time we're going to talk about it. We're going to actually make our choices.
Yep.
FPO Player of the Year. Okay, you have 5 candidates, in my opinion: Missy Gannon, Holland Hanley, Silva Saarinen, the primaries, and then Kristen Latt and Owen Scoggins, who you still have to at least consider in the conversation.
Good with me.
Kristen wins 3 times. Owen wins twice, including Worlds. So let's look at the basic stats first, okay? And we'll put it up on the screen on YouTube so you can check it out. The green boxes indicate leading in the category. Okay. So Holland wins the tour points race, matches Missy and wins, and is tied with Silva for the most podiums and won the most cash, of course, courtesy of winning the tour championship.
Yep.
So a strong season for Holland, no doubt.
Without a doubt.
Missy Gannon, total wins, matches Holland with 5, has a major, plus throw pink, which count that as you want, and does well in the other categories, of course, but isn't leading. Silva also has a major win, had the best average finish on tour this season at 3.9, 11 podiums matching Holland, and was second in average rating behind Kristen, who only led in average rating. No major wins this year.
Consequence of not playing a full season.
Of course. Owen has the major win and otherwise doesn't really hold up much in the categories. Average rating at the bottom of that list, and finishes 3rd in the Pro Tour behind Missy and Holland. So, Josh, this is just the basics. Any obvious front runner for you?
Man, honestly, I really don't think that there is here. Because look, I agree with you that you got to drop Kristen and Owen off, right?
I think you have to. Like, we put them on the list because we wanted to just have the stats in front of us, but I think we knew coming in that they were not likely to win, and I think it's very clear from the data that they can't win. Okay,
so you take that away, and then you get to give Silva the top. So if you cut them out, Silva now has the best average event rating of anybody. And that, to me, really complicates it, because Silva has a little bit less wins, but she's much more consistent than the other 2 players.
Yes.
Holland obviously has the money and the rank and the podiums, and Missy is the least consistent, but has a major with the number of wins that she has. And so I actually think from just, and we've talked about this a lot, like these, just looking at those 3, like these statistics here in front of us, I think it is a very complicated decision. And I don't know if there is an obvious front runner to me.
All right. So we move on to Josh's proprietary stat system. Okay. So Josh made a system that looks at field strength, purse size, rounds played in wins, and stroke margin of victory. Okay. Basically equally weighting these across with a 25-point scale per category, where field average takes the percentage of players who were at the Tour Championship and uses that as, so if like everybody was there, it's a 25.
Correct.
And if there were 20 out of 21 players, you just do the math and you take a percentage out of 25.
Yep.
Purse was based on the MVP Open, with that as the baseline for a 25 point. And so tournaments that are higher than that, like the Pro Tour Championship or Worlds, get 25 points, and then you just use a percentage going below that. Rounds, after some tweaking, we agreed on doing 5 points per round. So Worlds is a 25-point tournament. 4-round tournaments are worth 20. 3-round tournaments are worth 15.
For the margin of victory, a playoff is worth 6.25 points. Winning by 1 stroke is 12.5. 2 strokes is 18.75. And then if you win by 3 or more strokes, you get the full 25 points.
Gotcha. I remain skeptical of this category a little bit.
Totally fine.
I think it's there is some value in winning by more.
Yeah.
So
well, and I think the reason I decided to include it, I remember we were talking about Own, and I remember saying, "Oh, Own won Ledgestone," and you were like, "No, Own lost in a playoff." And I was like, "Oh shoot, yeah, you're right." And you were like, "Oh, it's basically a coin toss at that point anyway." So, like in my mind, if you have to go to a playoff, it's just not. It's not. It really is a 50-50 whether or not you actually get that win. And so it's still impressive that you get it, but I think there should be some value in closing out tournaments. Now, Charlie and anybody else, feel free to quibble with the weighting of this equally. I spent like 5 days playing around with different weights, and then I finally was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just putting them all equal, and I'll let people adjust their weights differently if they'd like.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is only looking at wins.
Correct.
Okay. This is an important detail here. This is only looking at wins. It is not considering podiums or consistency or anything like that. Who had the best wins? So, the super high level summary. Missy had the best wins. Holland was second best and pretty close. And then Silva was like quite a bit below both of them. Now, there's been no bonus added for majors, so that's something that we could consider doing. But let's just talk about some of the things that made the difference. Basically, Missy's field strength numbers were incredibly strong. Mm-hmm. She won a Champions Cup with every single player in the field. That's the only tournament in this list where every single player was in the field from the Tour Championship qualifiers, which includes Kristen.
Yep.
She won at Throw Pink, extremely high-level field. She won an MVP, extremely high-level field. Deglow, one of the strongest fields of the year as well. She did have the much weaker win at the Cascade Challenge. But then you look at Silva, for instance, and she has some of the weakest wins of the year at Turku, which only got 2.4 points in the field strength category out of 25.
Her and Henna.
And then Ale Open, where she got 3.6. Now, admittedly, she won the major, one of the strongest fields of the year at the European Disc Golf Festival.
Yep.
22.6 points. But even her preserve win was middle to lower on the scale.
Her preserve win, which is her best win outside the major, is still worse than the worst wins from Missy and Holland. Right.
So when you look at it in total, right, those were some of the weakest wins. I think literally the weakest wins, Turku and Ale, of these players, of literally any players in this conversation, including Kristen and Owen. Mm-hmm. So you have to consider that fact, I think. And I mean, no matter how you look at it, right? Purse, field, those are both way weaker on those European events, especially, looking at Turku.
Here's the other thing, Charlie. You could triple the value of European Disc Golf Festival, and she still's behind Holland in just total points. Because that'd add another 160, and she'd still be 15 points behind Holland.
That's crazy.
So it's very difficult, no matter what way you squint, to I think Silva already was missing a win, which is why it's so far behind. But her quality of wins are just so much lower. I think it's for me, given how close it was above, I think that this almost serves as like a tiebreaker for me. And I think this pretty clearly knocks Silva out for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the win quality factor has to matter. Mm-hmm. If we want to throw out like any wins that were below 65 points or something, then like Silva's only quality win this year is European Disc Golf Festival.
Right.
Whereas Missy has MVP, D-Glow, Throw Pink, and Champions Cup. And Cascade Challenge just at literally 64.99, just below the threshold.
Right.
Then, Holland's got Open at Austin, Northwest Disc Golf Challenge. Krokel barely meets the cut, but it was the strongest of those European Pro Tour events. And then the Pro Tour Championship, of course. So, Silva's consistency is laudable, but when you just sort of look at the raw win count and you're like, oh, well, Silva won 4 times, including a major. Like, yeah, but it's a big asterisk on the wins. And for me, like, it makes it pretty clear that it has to be Missy or Holland.
I think so too. Really quick, I did want to highlight the Pro Tour Championship. People are probably like, how does the Pro Tour Championship not have full points? My field, I did Pro Tour Championship registration list plus Kristen. And so it is missing Kristen. And that's why that's
yeah, which is fair.
But,
which is fair. I mean, Kristen was Kristen was the strongest player by rating this season.
She deserves you deserve the credit for beating Kristen if you did earlier in the season. So
right.
Yeah, no, right. I agree though. Like, I think we need to talk about Missy and Holland still. I think I have an answer, but this to me is an eliminating factor for Silva. Her wins just aren't.
I think we're going to end up in the same spot here, Josh. Holland's wins were awesome. She had the best score in the strokes category. When she won, she generally played really well.
Yep.
I think Holland and Missy both had periods of inconsistency.
Yes.
Holland's may have been a little bit bigger overall, but on average, Holland finished 5.3 at events this year. Missy finished 6.3. So I think when you actually zoom all the way out, Holland had more podiums, had a better average finish. However, 0 majors, and I think if you want to weight Throw Pink in the Tour Championship at the same level, I wouldn't have a huge complaint about that. I mean, I think winning Throw Pink is harder probably than winning the Tour Championship,
especially when you start with all the strokes. But
right, but I simply have to give it to Missy because of the major win as essentially the tiebreaker.
Well, and here's the other thing, Charlie. So Owen wins purse average and round average, but she also gets the benefit of Worlds, which gets perfect scores in both those categories, and the only one to get a perfect score in the round category. If you just look at Holland and Missy straight up, Missy wins field average strength, purse average strength, rounds average strength, meaning she won more prestigious events, and then barely misses out on the level of dominance when she won. And so even if you don't weight Champions Cup any different, and you just call it another event, and you call Throw Pink another event, and just run them through strength of wins, Missy still beats Holland straight up there. And to me, I think that's more valuable than the 0.1 average placement difference. It certainly, the major certainly overcomes 3 podiums difference. It certainly overcomes an average rating difference of 1 point. Those metrics are valuable, but they're so close, and they're not as valuable to me as a major. And so I think just about any way you cut it, the things that matter the most, wins, majors, Missy takes the cake.
I mean, I think the biggest thing in Holland's camp is that she won the tour standings.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, though, she didn't win it by much. Right? It was really close.
It came down to MVP.
It was really, really close. And let's see, what was the final count? Holland was at 22.62 and Missy was at 21.83. Now, keep in mind, right, those points account for your major performances, and
correct,
you get to drop some of your worst events and all of that. But I think Holland really benefited from being able to drop her worst events because some of them were quite bad. I will not complain if voters vote for Holland. But to me, the average tournament win for Missy was a better tournament than Holland's, and I think that you have to account for that. So I will be placing my vote for Missy Gannon.
I also will. I don't think we need to take away anybody's ballot for this one, like I do about Gannon. But I agree. I mean, if you go,
there's a cogent case to be made for each of those top 3 players.
I think so too. Like, if you just go on, and not even strength, but just like how people feel about tournaments, and go heads up against like tournament to tournament, Champions Cup v Pro Tour Championship. People take Champions Cup every day of the week. Throw Pink versus Northwest Disc Golf Challenge. Again, MVP Open at Austin. Again, D-Glow and Kansas City Wide Open. Like, all the way to, you got to get to Missy's Cascade Challenge versus Crokel and go, give me either one before you're like, no, I think Missy has. And honestly, this has been Missy's strongest resume point for every season that she has been, like, played for the past few years, is that we get to the most important events of the season and Missy plays great. And it is always, if you need to go in clearly beating Missy in every category, because if you don't, she's going to have tiebreakers in her favor because she wins the right events. And I think that's the case this year.
I still think Colin had an awesome season. She was by far the best player in the first half.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But when it's all said and done, the majors is just a tiebreaker for me.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Holland's wins were solid. Like, Open at Austin, Northwest Disc Golf Challenge, right? Those are both plus events. Pro Tour Championship, huge cash, super strong field.
Yep.
Like, Holland should not feel bad about finishing second in this race. But Missy just did a little bit more, and I think Holland probably will learn from this year. And she talked about in the interview with us last week, like, need to take a little more break in the middle of the season so I don't burn out.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're talking rookie, most improved, comeback player, and picking all our all-stars. We'll be back on the Upshot. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. Well, they got brand new pre-orders available now for the Vagabond. It's the smallest of the Pound bags. Shoulder carry bag. They've got the Sage, kind of the all green, a navy, and foliage. Love that they used foliage, a classic DGN term, huh? And then the black and coyote. So go over to pounddiscgolf.com, pre-order today, shipping at the end of November. So don't wait. If you're looking for just like a practice bag, or you really like a shoulder carry bag, or you need a diaper bag, honestly, perfect diaper bag size. Check it out over at pounddiscgolf.com. Welcome back to the Upshot. It's time for Rookie of the Year conversation, and we're going to throw the stats up on the screen that the Pro Tour sent over. Yes. So shout out to the Pro Tour because they pulled together a bunch of data on the players. And here's a look at your eligible players in FPO. No podiums for any of them. Mm-hmm. And there are some players who feel like they should be eligible and just simply are not. So, if you're looking for Ida Letamahi, I'm sorry, she's not eligible.
I know.
But here are the players who are. And Josh, I think the obvious standout candidates are Ida Ness, Rebecca Dawn, Taylor Chosek, Julia Fors. For me, like when you look at top 10s and kind of general finish, those are the players that look like the clear standouts. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I was really, I knew it wasn't going to be the case. I was like, maybe Sophia Dunica would still count as a rookie so that I could just pick her because that was going to make my life easy. Oh man. It's hard because I really think that the question for me is between Rebecca Dawn and Ida Ness, Ida Emily Ness. The difficulty in making these evaluations is you have one player who played basically only in Europe or primarily in Europe.
Sure.
And so those top 10s probably aren't as
a little inflated compared to somebody who's on the American tour.
Yeah. So like Rebecca Dawn's top 10s are probably better top 10. Well, let me tell you real quick. Rebecca Dawn's top 10s, she had a 4th place at the Discmania Challenge, and then she had a 4th place at Ledgestone. It looks like she also had an 8th place at Preserve. So I think so she's got the 3, an 8th place at Preserve. I'm going to go, my vote is going to be for Ida Emily Ness, and here's why. While they are not top 10s, she also took 11th at Worlds and took 13th at Throw Pink.
Mm-hmm.
And so while those aren't, and listen, like Rebecca Dawn's got some good finishes in there too. If you did top 20s, like she had a lot of top 20s, but US Women's, she was 18th, and Throw Pink, she was 48th. And so as the fields got better, Rebecca Dawn kind of fell off, but Ida Emily Ness had some top finishes, like quality finishes against the best fields of the year. And to me, for a rookie, that speaks a lot to future potential. And she also has some good numbers from Europe as well. She played well. She did what she was supposed to when she needed to at the easier events. My vote's going to be for Ida Emily Ness.
Yeah, I mean, she also had the best rating.
Oh, yeah, that was the other part.
Which, like, for me, is kind of like a good barometer when you're talking about very split fields like this.
Yeah.
I also generally want, like, Rebecca Dawn is a great player. How old is she? Do we know that?
I could get an answer for you real quick.
I'm not sure if it's on our...
She was playing FJ 18 in 2024.
Okay, so she's like right around that.
FJ 15 in 2023.
Okay, so she's like 17 then?
16, 17, yeah.
Okay. So that's not a tiebreaker then for me. Like, in general, I'm going to go with a younger player, but they both qualify as, like, obviously younger players.
Yep.
It's kind of a hard decision, I think.
I think it is too.
I wouldn't complain. I mean, Rebecca earned the most cash.
Mm-hmm.
She had the best Pro Tour finish in the standings at 24th compared to Ida's 42nd. But that's the inverse, right? Like, Ida's playing way fewer Pro Tour points earning events.
Right.
And, like, you can only earn so many points in Europe. So, like, I don't really care about that. I think Ida's substantially better Throw Pink performance is probably enough for me to feel like that's a good enough tiebreaker.
I think so too.
Did Rebecca play Worlds?
I didn't see it. Yeah, I did not see it on here. No.
So she didn't go over to Europe at all, which is totally fair.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, Ida Ness was like close to winning tournaments. Mm-hmm. And yes, they were weaker tournaments in Europe. But I just think that she generally was more impressive as the like up and coming next player. Now, Ida Letomaki is the one I really want to vote for in this category, but she's not eligible.
Right.
Which, whatever. Fair enough. I'm not even going to dig into the reasons why. She didn't meet the criteria. That's all I need to know.
That's fine.
But best average finish, most top 10s, best average rating among all eligible rookies. Like, despite the caveats, she also played 4 fewer tournaments than Rebecca.
Right.
So, despite the caveats of the Europe sort of inflation on those top 10 counts, I think I'm with you. I'm going Ida Ness.
No splits from us yet.
Not yet. It's coming, though.
Consensus.
MPO rookie. Your notable... So, I'll give you the players in the top 100 in the Pro Tour standings, which I think these are... There's a couple of players who are still considered eligible who are below that threshold, but these are going to be the primary players. Rasmus Saukaripi, Harry Chase, Ani Rusanen, Teemu Lampinen, Lucas Carmichael, Matthew Alexander, Ryan Mon, Jacob Blair, and Eustace Sarvi. Not a lot to separate these players from one another, in my opinion.
No.
A few guys had a top 10. Peter Lunde, I think he's Norwegian, he had a podium finish in just 5 starts. Maybe just not enough going on there, though. Like, and he finished 102nd.
I don't quite think so.
I'm going to count him out. But otherwise, like among the players I just named, only Sarvi and Rusanen have a top 10 finish. So I don't really know where to go here. I don't think it's easy at all to make a determination. The top rating goes to Ani Rusanen, average rating of 1025.8. Saukaripi earned the most cash, played twice the tournaments as Rusanen. Harry Chase is like, I kind of have like a feeling like he should win because he had some really nice moments and like stood out at a couple of tournaments in a way that maybe the Europeans didn't quite do in the same manner. But gosh, I don't know, Josh. It's really hard.
Okay, here's my thoughts. I hear that, like, I know that Harry Chase stood out at a couple of them, but there's not really anything on his resume that makes you go, yeah, okay, you are the best in this category. Ani Rusanen had less starts, but still a good amount of cash, but has the highest average rating and average place finish. Rasmus Saukaripi had more starts, so he has top cash, but he also beats Harry Chase in average rating. So for me, I feel like the most appropriate battle here are between the Europeans. Now, let me give you 2 stats, or I guess same numbers, kind of things that we did for the FPO side in order to help influence your decision. Ani Rusanen, he took 41st at the European Disc Golf. He took 33rd at the European Disc Golf Festival. He took 45th at the World Championships. Saukaripi was 17th at European Disc Golf Festival and 26th at the World Championships. Does that influence your decision at all?
It feels like a literal dart throw here. I'm serious.
That's how MPO has always felt for Rookie of the Year, or almost always.
Well, once in a while we get like a Isaac Robinson or
right.
a Gannon Burr, and it's like
right.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, who are you going to vote for?
It might be the easy one, but I will be voting for Saukaripi. I think a slightly better performance at the majors, and it is harder to sustain the average rating when you're playing double the events, including coming over to the U.S. and playing an extended tour in the U.S. as well. That requires, in my opinion, I think that's more difficult to do, and I think that Ani's is boosted a little bit by the lack of events that he played, and so to me, I think Saukaripi's resume is more impressive, and at that point I just have to go head to head, Saukaripi versus Chase, and Saukaripi beats him in every stat.
Right.
And
finish better at the majors that they played
and finish better at the majors. So for me, I think Rasmus is the winner.
Ay. I feel like playing more should matter to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's not like these guys all played about the same. The rating differential between Chase and Rusanen was about 5 points.
Oh, Chase and Rusanen. Yeah.
And between Saukaripi and Rusanen, it was about 4 points.
Yes.
Which is there's nothing. I mean, that's like a half stroke around. I have a hard time making that determination based on that. I think I'm just going to take the simple answer here and say the person who finished highest in the DGPT standing should win this award. So I guess I also go Salkadipi, but I have no real conviction about it.
I don't either. Here's my thought. If you're doing a European versus an American, I'm willing to squint to like try and compare apples and oranges. But if I'm comparing a European against a European, playing double the events matters. And then if I'm comparing a European who played as much or more than an American, I don't even have to squint. And so I just take the numbers on face, and Sakaripi wins them.
Okay, I have one last thing to look at before I make a final decision.
Okay.
Here's my issue, Josh.
Okay.
Last year, Rasmus Sakaripi, who's a name that I've known since 2023.
Yes, yeah.
He played a major and 3 Pro Tour events.
Wait, what's the criteria?
This is last year. I don't remember. He played Copenhagen, Turku, European Disc Golf Festival, and then he played at the European Open. Harry Chase, the only Elite Series event that he played at was Worlds in 2024.
Yep.
Harry Chase just feels more like a rookie to me. But maybe I just need to set that aside and say, like, the criteria are the criteria and Rasmus meets them, so it's acceptable.
I will say Harry Chase has played, last year he only played Worlds, but every other year prior to that, going back to 2022, he played an Elite Series and Worlds. So, like, he's played Worlds 4 years in a row and played a handful of Elite Series as well. I agree. Rasmus does not feel as much like a rookie to me.
I think it's just because we've known his name from European Open.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like playing World, right? Like, Harry Chase playing Worlds is like Rasmus playing European Open.
Right.
By the way, the rookie is defined as you started the season as a tour card holder for the first time. You played 6 DGPT World Standings points events in a season. You played your 10th ever World Standings points event, or you qualify for the Pro Tour Championship.
They really expanded your ability to play more events before.
Yes.
Well, for reference, Oni Rusanen, another name that I know, played 4 Elite Series events last year and played the European Open. So 5 Elite Series majors.
I'm going to vote for Sakaripi because it just is the most logical among a group of very, very similar resumes.
Voting for Sakaripi because it's the easiest.
I don't know what else to do. Like,
I'm with you. I have no convictions to this.
Okay, let's keep it moving.
Okay.
Let's go to maybe the easier one, which is Comeback Player of the Year. This is a select group of players from which you have to choose. Those players are, we'll start in FPO, Katrina Allen, Valerie Mondahano, Paige Pierce, and Madison Walker. Comeback Player of the Year. Okay. The description on the Pro Tour website is celebrating players who have made a remarkable return to competitive disc golf, whether overcoming an injury, bouncing back from a career slump, returning to full touring after a life event, or reclaiming their place at the top after time away from the game. This award recognizes resilience and determination. Okay.
Okay.
I will be voting for Paige Pierce.
I will as well.
I believe that Paige Pierce truly recovered this year. And obviously she got some huge wins. But it's also just about her general level of play, recovering to the point where she's starting to look like the old Paige a little bit more. And, you know, that's no discredit to these other players who I think there's a case to be made. But Paige was the obvious player in this category for me even before I saw the list.
Yep. Nothing to add. No notes. I completely agree.
Josh, on the MPO side, The players are Paul McBeth, Cole Redolin, and Paul Krantz. Who are you going to vote for on this side?
There was a gross injustice done because the person I wanted to vote for is not on this list.
Who is the person?
I want to vote for Lauri Lehtinen.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he should be on the list. What the hell?
He should be on the list. He is the comeback player of the year.
You're so right.
I'm so right.
Is there some reason he can't be on the list? Or what?
I don't know.
They have to be current tour card holders. Is he?
Hold on. They have those stats for us. Let me go check over on MP.
Let's see. I think you also have to be nominated. So maybe he simply was not nominated. Just not nominated. You have to be nominated by a fellow competitor.
I think there's a gross injustice done that Lauri Lehtinen is not on this list.
Damn.
That's who I would want to vote for.
That's the Upshot comeback player of the year right there.
Oh yeah. I mean, if we do any when we do some extra awards, that's the one I'm giving. That's for sure.
Dude was straight up off the tour, like I can't play anymore.
Yes,
my mental is too broken, and he came back and balled out.
Yes, he is like you could go pull up a dictionary and look up like comeback player of the year, and Lauri Lehtinen's picture is sitting next to it now. Like that is published in this year's dictionary. Yeah, I'm disappointed. That's who I'd like to vote for. My consolation comeback player of the year would probably be Cole Redolin. The combination of like the upside that we saw in Cole in the past, the wins that he had, and then dealing with the injury and coming back and getting another one, and really like being out of form. I mean, he played bad for a while after or in the midst of that injury. I think that kind of it has a real comeback arc to it. And so while I would like to vote for Lauri, I think that Cole is a good candidate for this as well. And I'm fine voting for him.
The other obvious candidate for me is McBeth. I have a harder time with it, though, because he finished 6th in the Pro Tour standings last year. But it's unquestionable that he came back, right?
Yes,
like he is back.
He did. He's back. Let me throw a wrinkle in this for you. If he had won a major this year, do you call him comeback player of the year?
Probably.
I think so too.
But what he didn't win last year, right? At any point. And then, of course, he does win this year. He wins at Idlewild and GMC. And just looks like way more dangerous the entire year. Mm-hmm. You know what? I honestly came in expecting to vote for Cole Redolin. But like Cole had like 2 good events. And that's it. McBeth like looks like the player that he used to be again. It's very similar to what happened with Paige. And to go from a 0-win season to a 2-win season, it's not the typical like comeback type of thing, right? Like normally think about a comeback player, it's like somebody who bombs all the way out and is and then comes back and, you know, has this redemption arc. Paul doesn't really need to be redeemed, but he did come back from like a season in which he was injured and like it looked like he might never be the same again. And now he looks like he is once again one of those players that you could expect on any given week to win a tournament. And I'm going to give it to him.
All right. Wow.
We finally don't come to the same conclusion.
We finally don't agree.
Okay. Next up, most improved player.
I don't know how to pick this one.
Let's start an FPO.
This one's
one's crazy. So the stats that they give you are like...
I know my answer on this one. Sorry, FPO's easy.
Results in 2024, results in 2025, improvement in the Pro Tour standings, improvement in rating, improvement in like average finish by place, number of wins, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. I have a couple of thoughts in mind already, but who are you thinking?
I think that and obvious probably is not quite the right way to say it, but I think the most deserving player in my mind is Sofia Dunica. She has really been leveling up her game. I don't think we're at the top. she definitely, she doesn't qualify as a rookie, but there has been real and meaningful improvement from Sophia over this season. I have a hard time picking a super, super young player who's like on their first year playing any events.
I mean, I was thinking about Cadence Burge, but I'm like, is she really like a most improved when like this is the normal trajectory of improvement? You know what I'm saying?
Right. So let me give you a little bit of
it's like giving Wemby most improved in 2025, right?
Right. So let me give you a little bit of reference here. Last year on Elite Series, Sophia's finishes 14th, 3rd, 21st, 14th, 37th, and then 15th at European Open, the major. Okay. So that was last season. Come back to this season. She tours more, so that she gets that benefit. 11th, 15th, 10th, 20th, 12th, 14th, 9th, 22nd, 7th, 4th, and then also has a major performance for
and also qualifies for the Tour Championship as the wild card.
Yes, has 4 majors this year, 14th, 12th, 20th, 22nd, and took 4th at Throw Pink.
It's impressive.
She finished at the Pro Tour Championship and remember, as a player with no strokes, finished 4th at the Pro Tour Championships, finished 7th at MVP, and has 4th at Throw Pink. She had an excellent finish to the season, and like the rest of her season was still marginally better, despite playing significantly more events. I really, like, for me, I am very happy to vote for Sophia for this award.
Oh, man. I think the other candidates, okay.
I think Cadence.
Cadence has to be a candidate.
Has to be a candidate.
Rebecca Dawn has to be a candidate. Taylor Chosek has to be a candidate. Taylor Chosek improved her rating by 21 points this year. Average place improvement more than 16. That's way above what Sophia did. She moved up 4 places, but they're in different spots in the standings, and that's important. She went from 113th on tour in 2024, Chosek, to 36th. It's obviously massive improvement.
Big improvement.
And her rating went up about 20 points. Well, so did Dunica's from a higher floor, like from a higher base.
Right.
So that's a big push on her favor. I think Cadence is definitely an option, but again, I think I agree with you that it's just not the right pick for most improved when we're talking really about more established players improving from where they were. Mm-hmm. Like she was like
or
basically playing in her
players.
first season on tour.
Yeah. And she was in high school still.
Right.
So, yeah.
I am with you. I think you've made the case well. I will also vote for Sophia Dunica. Now we look at MPO.
I'm just not going to vote for this category. I don't want to. I don't want to look.
I think it's really tough. I mean,
I thought you were about to say I think it's easy.
I have a couple of people that I want to point out.
Okay, give me a name, Charlie, because
here's a couple of names. Okay. First, Sullivan Tipton.
Okay.
Goes from 1019 rated averages last year, or call it 1020, to 1038. Goes from 48th in the tour standings to 12th.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So we're talking about like leveling up to the point where, he's like regularly on coverage, right?
Yeah.
Now you can look at Harry Chase, who went from 304th to 53rd, but that's largely a volume game.
I think so too.
His rating does go up about 20 points as well, but Tipton's 20-point improvement is a lot more impressive.
Okay.
Paul Cran, similar story. Didn't quite, we went from 1015 to 1030, 88th to 24th in the standings. That's solid. It's solid. An interesting one, perhaps, Ezra Aderholt goes from 1022 to 1032. Gets a win.
Ezra.
That's an interesting one, right?
Yeah, I really did think about Ezra.
Otherwise, I feel like those are the main candidates. I mean,
Okay.
there's a bunch more players who have made big giant leaps in tour standings and things like that. Henrik Hagman jumped 26.5 points this year in rating, from 993 to 1020, basically. That's cool, but too obscure of a name, I think.
It's too far down too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, let me go grab the 900 rated player who played a couple Elite Series and now is 990. Right.
Very fair. Very fair.
Yeah. I personally am more compelled by the Ezra or Sullivan Tipton numbers. I think much like Sophia, when you start with the higher base and then make the improvements, like the margins are closer. It means that you're actually getting on coverage, you're performing well, and like you're making impact at tournaments. And so to me, those two should be the top candidates. Ezra did have a big improvement. I guess I kind of like didn't realize just how big of the improvement it was, because I think there was always that expectation that Ezra was supposed to play about this level.
But I mean, he genuinely played better.
But he genuinely played better.
And it's not just the win, right? Like, he played better across the board.
Correct. Correct.
At the end of the day, I have to vote for Tipton.
I think I'm with you on this.
He improved more than Ezra.
What do you think? Okay, ready? Hold on. I don't know if I knew this, and maybe you looked already, but maybe you didn't. So Ezra Aderhold, you mentioned 1032 rated. Do you know what Sullivan Tipton's rating is?
It's higher than Ezra's, I think.
It is higher.
1030.
You're not going to believe it.
1037.
1040.
Whoa.
Sullivan Tipton's in the 1040 club.
Damn.
That I'm done. That's that wraps it up for me. I can't believe it. I didn't realize.
And what
that.
was he at last year? Because the ratings we have are average within the season. So
right. Hang on, let me look.
1040. Damn, he must have played really well the last couple of months.
I almost fell over. October of 2024, he was 1022 rated.
Wow. That's
what a baller.
Crazy come up.
So he's been 1040 rated since August. I'm sorry, Tipton. Like, I
wasn't familiar with your game.
I wasn't familiar with your game. You know, we might have even done this in August, and I just kind of forgot if we did an August ratings update. But man, like, listen, 1040. I give a lot of respect when you break that 1040 mark. So
I mean, he kind of cooked. Like, he had 10 events this year. Wait, sorry, I did this wrong. Make it 9 events this year with an event rating of over 1040. And he had 2 over 1050. Worlds, where he finished 5th. Discmania Challenge, where he finished 4th. He's been super solid.
Respect.
2 top 5 finishes at the majors this year. At Worlds and Champions Cup. Yeah. I mean, I think...
Wrap it up.
Like, I think I honestly hope like other voters like really take the time and look at this, because I think now the more I look at it, the more it's obvious to me that he is the most improved.
I agree with that. I agree. I agree. I think it's Tipton.
Second and third card All-Stars. All right, so we'll start an FPO. Holland, Missy, Owen, and Silva are locked as your first card All-Stars. Mm-hmm. Here are the players. Here are the next 15 or so players. Ella Hansen, this is in order of their tour standings, I believe.
That looks correct.
Ella Hansen, Paige Pierce, Kat Murch, Valerie Mondahano, Cadence Burge, Kristen Latt, Evelyn Salonen, Hannah Wynn, Katrina Allen, Rebecca Cox, Anniken Sten, Hannah Blomroos, Jessica Gerthy, Lisa Fakis, and so on and so forth. So you're free to vote for whoever you want here.
Yes, no restrictions. These often...
The big challenge here is going to be what to do with Kristen.
I agree with that. Okay,
because do you just take her off the ballot entirely because she's essentially said that she's done?
I will go through. I don't even know. I haven't gone through my ballot yet, so I don't know if it's even available right now. But I agree. So let's just be clear. Ella, Paige, Kat, Valerie Mondahano. Yes.
Yeah, they're definitely going to make one of my cards. The question is whether I put them on the second card. Like, that's the next
second
four.
Or third.
Do you just make them the second card also? I mean, that's obvious. You certainly can.
Oh yeah, we don't. I don't think we need to debate that here. But those four all should be all stars next year.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I think I might lean. Like, Cat Merch is going to fall for me to third card.
That's fine.
Because she doesn't have any wins. No. I'm much more likely to put an Evelina or a Cadence up on second card because they won some tournaments. I think probably Evelina is going to get the nod for me because she won a major.
Has to get the nod. Yes. So the 2 wins and the major. So Evelina. So those 4 though are going to be all stars. I think Evelina is a lock for me. I also think Cadence Burge is a lock for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that leaves us with 2 spots left, Charlie, that we need to fill. This is where I think it is very complicated. Because now do you give one of those spots to Kristen, and who do you give the other spot to? Because I don't think it's just a natural, like, oh, next up Hannah Wynn, and that's who it is.
It's tricky.
So here's my question then.
But honestly, I am going to give it to Hannah Wynn for me. She's going to get one of my spots.
Are you giving it to Kristen?
I honestly wish that there was like guidance from the Pro Tour on this.
And there may be. You may not even be able to vote for her, but
ultimately, if I am voting on the season that was, absolutely. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say she's on second team, and I'm going to bump Valerie Mondahano to third team.
Fine by me. I agree.
So I'm done. Ella Page, Kristen Evelina on second team, Cat Merch, Valerie Mondahano, Cadence Burge, and Hannah Wynn on third team.
Okay, I agree, except I don't give it to Hannah Wynn. I give it to Annika Sten. She had better average rating. She had less starts, which is why she had 5 less starts, which is why she's lower in the ranks. But she had a better average finish. She had a better average rating. And so I think just in like when Annika Sten played, she played better. And she did do a lot of American events as well. It was not that she was just playing in Europe. And that for me is, and she has more cash. And so that's another thing that usually is below when you have European grinders is the cash goes down because the purses aren't as high. It's not the case for Annika. And so I think all of those factors to me, she also had a podium. Hannah Wynn did not. Like,
I hear you. I disagree because I think that playing events matters. And I think that Hannah was one of the most exciting stories of this season.
Fair. Totally fair. So my ballot differs from yours in that I prefer Sten over Wynn. Now, here's my question for you. You can't pick Kristen. Who gets your last spot? And we can presume that they would go on third.
Totally fair question.
Yeah.
I mean, one person that you're not giving it to, Josh, who has a higher rating and more podiums and a better average finish is Hannah.
I know.
But like, do I really want to watch Hannah play in an all-star tournament?
I mean, actually, that's exactly where I want to watch Hannah play. It's everywhere else I don't want to watch Hannah play.
Just don't put her in the putting competition, folks. Jeez. I think I go Hannah. I do think I go Hannah. I low-key want to pick Sophia Dunica.
I literally have her up right now. I'm trying to decide.
Average finish wise, she actually outplays him. Oh, wait a minute. What about Haley King?
No, Haley, you cannot pick.
I can't be the one who says volume matters
and says volume matters. I just want Haley King.
I just want to think about it.
Absolutely.
What about Ida Letamaki? That'd be kind of a bold pick.
That would be a bold pick.
She only played 5 tournaments, but
she's 15.
She almost won Worlds.
I'm willing. Like, I hear you there. That one I'm much less mad about. Like, I would not yell at you about that one.
I think it's just it's too much of a reach to pick her, but I would like to acknowledge that she was awesome. I pick Hannah, but like sort of reluctantly. I'm like actually glad I get to pick Kristen. I mean, I feel like she deserves the respect of being selected for this. even if she doesn't come and play.
Kristen does deserve the respect. If I can't pick Kristen, I have to pick Henna as well. Her performance at the majors, 3rd, 4th, 9th, 10th.
Wow.
Like, and yeah, it's... I'm mad about it. I'm mad that I'm picking Henna, but I'm going to pick Henna.
That's just, I mean, she's so talented as a thrower. Like
it's Henna fatigue.
Yeah. Okay. Men's side All-Stars. Gannon, Calvin, Isaac, and Macbeth are locked.
Yep.
First team. Here's your next selection. Ricky, AB, Kyle Klein, Ezra Robinson, Nicholas Antela, Adam Hammis, Ezra Aderhold, Sullivan Tipton, Aaron Gossage, Andrew Marweed, Cole Redall, Simon Lizotte, Evan Smith, and down from there.
Okay.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
Ricky, AB, Kyle Klein, Ezra Robinson, locks. Next 4. Not necessarily second.
Did you say
card.
Nicholas?
I just did next 4.
As there. Like obviously an all-star player?
Yes. Do you exclude any of those 4 guys?
No.
Okay. Next 4, Nicholas, Adam Hammis, Ezra Aderhold, Sullivan Tipton. The interesting player I think that is missing from this list, though I am not terribly compelled, is Cole Redall. I think, in my opinion, it's boring. I think I go straight top 12 based on Pro Tour standings, with Cole Redall being my first
like I like because I like the guy a lot. I want to pick Andrew Marweed, but like it's just simply not possible to pick him over Sullivan Tipton.
And like my problem is like, who do you bump? Do you bump Sullivan Tipton for Cole Redall?
You know, look, I'll let the fans make their fan votes for players like Simon.
Sure,
I can't pick a player like Simon.
Can't pick a player like Simon. Cole Redall had the win and some podiums, but was significantly worse in like his consistency. His average place was 31.5, which is the worst until you get to Bradley Williams down at 23rd.
Geez, but the second team decisions are actually kind of tough.
So for me, I think that the top 12 players in the Pro Tour standings are the ones who get in, and now it's a matter of ordering, which I think is very difficult. Do you have a player?
I have a hot
outside...
take.
Okay.
Somewhat hot take.
So you have somebody outside the top 12 who you want to put in the top 12?
No. I don't.
Okay.
I'm gonna give Tipton the flowers here.
Okay, I am too.
As like the marginal guy, right? He's the last one at the threshold. He's the 12th guy. But like Aaron Gossage and Andrew Marweed and Cole Redall with the win, it's just not quite enough to overcome Tipton's much superior season.
Yes, I agree. Okay, now
I've got it picked.
Okay. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds.
You look while I talk.
Okay,
Anthony Barella, Ezra Robinson, Nicholas Antela, and Adam Hammis are my second team.
I agree with that.
I am not putting Ricky on my second team because he did not win a tournament this year.
I agree.
So for me, it's Ricky, Kyle, Ezra Aderhold, and Sullivan Tipton, Sully Tippy on the third team. Ezra
wins.
AB with the major, Nicholas with 3 wins. Those are locks.
Yes.
And then you have 2 win guys in Ezra Robinson and Adam Hammis.
But Ezra Robinson has the 4th best average place finish, which the only people who beat him are Ricky, doesn't have any wins, AB, already in, Kyle Klein, doesn't have any wins, and here's the interesting one, Sullivan Tipton. I'm going to be honest with you, if Adam Hammis had less wins, I probably would put Sullivan Tipton above him.
Yeah, but you got to give it Hammis the respect.
Have to give it to Hammis with 2 wins. If he only had 1 win, it's an interesting conversation. With 2 wins, though, you have to give it to him. I think the multi-win guys have to get the nod for the second card.
That was my starting point.
I think that's the absolute right call. I completely agree with you.
All right. Well, there you go. There's our ballots. All set. Fun season. Exciting stuff. We will see what happens when all the votes settle. There's different weighting on like how they do things, right? There's like Pro Tour standings, and there's fan votes on some of them, and there's media votes on some of them. So we will see how things shake out in the end, and we will talk about that when the time comes. Let us know your thoughts. Did we miss something? Do you agree? Upshot@ultiworld.com is the way to reach us. Appreciate you being with us, everybody. We will be back with you next week as the off-season gets moving, but we also have a tournament preview coming up next week because Match Play Championships are next weekend. So that's going to be fun. A little bit of off-season disc golf to tide us over into the holidays. For Josh Mansfield and Charlie Eisenhood saying so long, and we will talk to you next week right here on The Upshot.